My apologies. Excuse me? You're saying that even some members of the Seven don a counterfeit vision before mingling with their people? My apologies. I was just caught off guard by the absurdity of the situation. I was once advised to wear a counterfeit vision so that I might more easily intervene during moments of crisis. To be quite frank, I was not enamored by this suggestion, nor the implication that one must only exercise the power that is rightfully theirs under false pretenses. With that said, however, I have developed a newfound appreciation for the value of human yearning and determination, having spent considerable time around vision-bearing humans. This is a topic that has been discussed ad nauseum. I don't mean to condescend to humanity, but it is quite clear to me that society's concepts of justice, fairness, equality, and rule of law are not equivalent, and never can be. Now, of course, water always seeks its own level, and it was in this spirit that the previous Hydro Archon Egeria hoped to achieve universal equality by connecting all things with love. Her successor chose instead to seek equality by means of the law. Ultimately, due to various external factors, this unfortunately manifested itself in the distorted form of trials for the sake of trials. Nevertheless, there are reasons for everything. I suppose I should refrain from criticizing her. Since you hail from beyond the stars, I invite you to be my witness as I judge this upended world. This realm dismantled was of the formidable Father himself, but what now reigns here is a cluster of filthy feathers. Though we live in a world of disarray, I shall undertake to restore all that has been broken. The time that I have spent living among the citizens of Fontaine and traveling with you has transformed my views. Even though before this I had pardoned the sins of humanity long ago, I can promise you that my future judgments will not cause any harm to the common folk. That being said, my grievances with the usurpers have yet to be settled. They owe a debt of blood that shall not be forgotten. I shall fulfill my vow to judge all of the Seven in turn, even if the sky should fall and the ground give way. As the recipient of the authority of Animo, the god of breeze and hope must also stand trial. He spends most of his time being a harmless drunkard. Well, even so, I must meet him for myself and proceed from there. Nothing will stop me from rendering judgment on each of the Seven. As the Archon who won the authority of Geo, Deus Ori must be called to trial. If one does not wish to see us on opposite sides of a conflict, they need not worry, for I intend to stay in Fontaine for the foreseeable future, which could well mean another 400 years. As another point of consolation, even when the trial eventually takes place, it is still not a given that the judgment will lead to a physical confrontation. As a survivor of the dragon race who has regained my full dragonhood, I must fulfill my oaths and obligations, even if it means returning all the water in the oceans back to the heavens. In taking the authority of Electro, the Narukami placed herself on the list of the usurpers. She will... Oh, you say she has isolated herself in the plane of Euthymia, and now rarely appears in public. Then I shall pay her a visit in another few centuries. Though the day will come when I put her on trial, I must commend the god of verdure on her sense of responsibility. Few things are without flaws in this world, but the devotion and benevolence she displays are a testament to her commitment to continued progress. I felt enormous regret when I learned of the mistreatment she has endured over the past 500 years. Now the curtain has finally fallen on her performance. The character she portrayed was an imaginary one, yet in playing that role, she fulfilled her duties. Though she is meek and full of doubt by nature, she was able to use madness to stiffen her resolve and see her duty through to its conclusion. The work that she has done over the centuries is truly immense. If she were to ever make a return to the stage, I should personally attend the performance and give her my heartfelt applause. Yes, I must do so when the opportunity arises. Fontaine does have some rather intriguing laws on its books. For instance, it is forbidden to release any flying objects during the first 3 days of each month. During the dry season, all bivalves that wash ashore belong to the Hydro-Archon, while all other mollusks belong to the people. No domestic pets shall be named after Furina. Tomato ketchup is to be consumed in restaurants only as a condiment, never on its own. And finally, Melusines are to be addressed using she/her pronouns, never the impersonal it/its. That last one was my personal contribution. Wriothesley is a trustworthy man. I fought hard for the title and reputation he now has. I expect you to think that I've simply been duped by his flattery and appearance of loyalty, but to that, I would quote the Inazuman proverb, "The words unspoken are the flower," which means some things are best left unsaid. Their performances are just fascinating, don't you think? They draw you into a magical world where, on one hand, everything that takes place is part of an elaborate deception, but on the other, all manner of miracles are possible if you are only willing to believe. I don't know how Sigewinne is faring these days, but if I hear so much as the whiff of a rumor that she's being bullied, I shall summon Wriothesley here and demand an explanation. She's so kind and vulnerable. She brought me some camera film the last time she visited, and asked to listen to more of my commentary on the water of Natlan. How long is it until her next vacation? I regret to say that after my various interactions with her, such as when I inadvertently angered her and when I accepted her apology, and even now, in spite of the guilt I continue to feel over what happened to her father, I feel very distant from her, as if I'm observing the starry sky from the bottom of a deep lake. It is by no means intentional, and I also know it is not something that I can easily make up for. Unlike water, emotion does not settle quickly once agitated, nor is it naturally inclined towards equilibrium. Cloran's peerless skills have made her the most powerful champion duelist in our nation. As a successor to the Maréchaussée hunters of old, she plays a vital role in ensuring the fairness and impartiality of the courtroom. Also, she's actually not as stoic as she might appear. The bishop's ancestry can be traced directly back to the Fontamercy, which is why they are so adept at evolution. I am reminded of an old custom that the dragons once observed. We would take a sip of our perished young brethren's blood. Whenever the tides are disrupted by the motion of the moon and stars, the water within the bodies of us hydro-organisms surges up towards our heads, reminding us that our deceased kin will soon be revived.